Okay, now I'm eager to start because this is what we
let's do
love,
it.
games and gamification. Yes, so hi everyone. My name is Malin and I'm one of the hosts and creators of the podcast, and this is Love Zero Waste Live. So we're doing a live podcast of our ordinary podcast, and during the coming 30-ish minutes, we'll the intersection between games and gamification and actions for sustainable development. Yes, Evelina is with us behind the Good Tribes account today. Yes. So with me today is Monika Martinsson, the co-founder of Deedster, which is an app where you can challenge your friends, your mother-in-law, or colleagues to take action to save the planet. Deedster's mission is to make it both fun and easy to live more sustainably. Monika, you're empowering individuals to become real-time change agents, raising their educating them on their climate footprint, and most importantly, you're showing that there's a way forward with actions, or deeds, as you're calling it in the app. What led you to create Deedster?
It was many things, of course, but I think I was with a group of people who felt that there was so much to learn, so much to understand in this kind of complex area that there needed to be easier tools to as an individual attack this problem. We started in 2016, and by that time the discussion that we've had the last couple of years wasn't there, so we really missed something, a tool to make it easy to act for the climate, because we saw that it's a lot of things required, right? To solving the issue of climate change isn't something that one country can decide to do and then it's decided. But there are so many different things to be worked out, and as an individual, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. So in trying to avoid people getting overwhelmed and actually trying to get more people to do something, that's what brought us to do this.
But then tell me about the intersection of gamification and sustainable development. What is it that makes a pairing of these two so interesting?
Well, I think it's just because it's such a complex issue, sustainability, and I mean, sustainability isn't only environmental sustainability, it's also social and policy and equality, and there's a lot of global issues coming into this. And to make it easy and fun, having it as a game where you kind of script what you're supposed to do makes it easier. So I think that intersection is so important and so powerful in sustainability, because we make it simpler without making it simple, but making it into small steps that you can actually, as an individual, understand, and you can go along with that script, and that makes it easy, because we need people to act, right? We need to start a movement around this. And how do we do that if everybody's sitting in their own houses and feeling overwhelmed? So gamification is something that is taking those internal motivators that we do have and actually making them come out. We're not trying to fool people with the gamification, but rather trying to reward them for whatever they're doing. So to make them more empowered and engaged.
We know that gamification in general can be big business. We have Pokemon Go, there are car brands encouraging their customers to drive in a more energy efficient way through games, and they are both examples of this. But gamification and sustainable development, do you see that there is money to be made here?
Yes, I mean, those examples are great. There is a difference between a game and gamification, because with a game you're trying to entertain people. It's more into the fun part, whereas with gamification we're trying to create a behavioral change more. People are motivated to do this, but to increase that motivation with gamification. And yes, we absolutely think that there are money to be made here. I mean, we looked at it on a kind of global scale, so this needs to be done. We need to change the environment. What is going to be required to do that? Well, a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. That ain't happening, right? Because people are so busy earning money and doing their work and you know, all the things that comes with everyday life. We're very busy people these days. These days, you have to have parties for your kids and social engagements and keep your apartment tidy. I mean, there are electricity bills. Yeah. So to really, so what's needed is that people engage in sustainability at work. That's the only thing that's going to be for actually making this movement happen. So we have the problem, we have all the people that are doing something else but saving the planet. We need them to start saving the planet, all of them on a daily basis. So what do? Well, we make it a business, right? So there are of course policy to be made so that companies has to do certain things and attain certain levels. But that policy is not going to happen without individual citizens asking for it and voting for those people who do it. And it's a long-term thing. So if we can't earn money in the short term, we as human beings are going to have a difficult time, you know, not earning money now because we have a long-term goal that's more attractive. It's a very difficult thing for humans. We are kind of focusing on gratification now, having big rewards now.
In the short term.
The short term, and it's something that we have to take into account, right? You can say that, oh, well, why can't you look ahead? Well, we can't as a big community. That's really, really difficult. And to turn that into something positive then, well, do it in your work, make sure that it's something. And I mean, we see the impact startup, the number of impact startups that's been going live together with us the last 4 years. It's impressive, right? So more people than us have had the same idea. Okay, so this is the problem. We need to solve it, and we're going to do it within the economic system that we have. So we need to earn money from it. But it's a different take on the economic system, different take on creating companies, and it's fun to be part of, but it's not obvious.
What kind of reactions have you got from that?
Well, in the impact startup community, we're very aligned that this is what needs to happen, and this is what needs to, how the movement needs to go. But if you go, so we're a VC backed, so venture capital backed company, and for venture capital firms, some of them are also understand this and are sustainability venture capitalists, but there's also a large amount of VC firms that are not at all involved in this, and they're kind of asking, why does it take so long for your company to reach profitability? Well, because we're trying to solve two problems here. So I'd say there are everything from total ignorance and thinking, you know, why don't you do something that's going to earn you money fast? That's a ridiculous thing to do, Deedster, and to completely understanding what we're up to.
Yeah.
I can say that my dad doesn't understand what I'm doing.
No.
No. So there are people very close by that's like, why? Yeah.
So how do you convince them then? Like, how do you tell your story?
I guess I do that by explaining this, you know, this is the problem. The environmental crisis is not going to go away. You know, we might have a pandemic now, but we're still going to come back to, which is for us as a company, if I may say that, that's great, right? Even though we've had a super big crisis with the pandemic changing everything, well, our business problem is still there. So it's a very rewarding to work with something that's still going to, you know, the economic system isn't going to change the problem that we're trying to solve. So that's people understand that when you talk about the long term, of course, but then it's in the everyday life. How do you make things happen?
And through the learning experience you've had working with Deedster, what are the best ways then to engage and motivate people to take action? Do you have any tips? Yeah,
well, we're actually trying out a few different ways, and to see what's really what gets people going, because and we've had a lot of luck, I'd say, with the competition argument that you So it's the challenge when we run it with company. It's like a step counter competition for the climate, where you compete in teams, and you have 4 to 6 weeks, and the team who's done the most deeds during this time, they win. So simple game mechanism. But the things that you're asked to do are, of course, sustainability friendly things, so climate smart deeds, bike to work, or eat vegetarian and try a vegan dish, or start a conversation with a business partner. And it's when you get points for doing those things. We've had a head of sustainability kind of looking at us, in confusion. Like, I've been talking about this for years. People have not done it, and now they get a point for doing it, and now they do it. So it's the actual competition element is really engaging. So even people who are far away from sustainability, who really don't bother if it's a plastic lid on my coffee cup, all of a sudden I get a point for not taking the plastic lid. Well, then I won't, of course. It's not like they are...
because it's a game.
It's a game, yeah, and they want to win. And workspaces are a bit competitive. And we've, but now we're trying to find other mechanisms that are more, let's do it together, because we see in another... in the friendly context, like we are, like Love Zero Waste is, where we are with our friends and we meet and we talk about the environmental problems. It's more like, how can we solve this together? So we're trying to experiment with the different gaming mechanics that's gonna empower us in that feeling, rather than let's compete over the other people and let's do the most deeds. But it is fascinating. I mean, we've been fascinating in seeing how people really get started and doing things, even though they like sustainability, they kind of in favor, but they never change their behavior. They haven't gone that far. So
you help them to take the next step.
Yeah, and make habits out of it. All of a sudden, the next time, even when they don't get points, it's like, yeah, well, I managed without the plastic lid last week. Why? I can skip it now too. So we see a lot of habit actually being forced out of your comfort zone. Forced, but you want to because you get points. So taken out of your comfort zone, and then you are in a new place, and all of a sudden you can you start thinking with new things and new thoughts, and you can work from there. So
yeah. And speaking about your results or even impact that you have generated just working with sustainable development and gamification, what have you found that was most surprising?
Well, maybe it is the power of what we can do together. So we had in a couple of days, in a challenge that we had, we made, so I think it was 4 or 5 days, we made up for a whole shopping-free year. And during March, we had 80,000 deeds being done in 1 month.
So 80,000 actions.
80,000 climate actions.
Development.
In 1 month, and that's pretty impressive. And it was a challenge, a game, right? So even though it's for me feeling not such a big thing what I'm doing in my everyday life, but then it adds up. So in this challenge I was in, wow, 80,000 deeds. So I think that's what's been really inspiring in this, to see that we, and I mean, we're not a big company, we haven't reached the global market yet, and we haven't gotten that far, but just within Sweden, just within the circles we're in, we could have those kind of results, and that's really promising, we think, for what we can achieve if we expand.
Yeah, so exciting. So in the app, you're urging the users to do good deeds, learn new things about sustainable development, and then try these things in their lives. But sustainable development is a complex topic, and then to try these things, I mean, many people just hesitate, and then they feel like, what if I do anything wrong? Maybe I would just better off not. So how do you take on this complexity? How do you actually turn that into something positive?
Well, I think it's also the game kind of, you can always be a beginner in a game. So when we present these challenges to people and we kind of tell them, this is what you're going to do, only this, it's very concrete, do this and you get a point. And then it's easy to do that because we're telling you how to do it. And And also if someone asks, well, they told me, you can blame the game. It's not really me, but it's I'm in this game and we're supposed to do this. And you maybe don't have to defend the whole. I mean, we see that a lot, that it feels as if I need to defend the whole sustainability movement, right? I don't know everything about that. It's super complex. But to start doing something, and we can promise that it's a good thing to do. In Deedster, we have all these tips, and if you do them, we cleared it. It's safe. And you can blame us, and you can also use it as a tool to your friends. You can, if you don't believe me, try this app, and then you'll find out yourself. We have, of course, sources on everything. So that way, again, we're kind of attacking the problem step by step and doing it very concrete and easy for the people who do want to be part of this movement.
Wonderful. So over to some quick ideation before we start the game. If there were a gamified zero waste app available, what would it do?
Do you want me to answer? Yes. What would it do? I think it would give you points and recognition in your community, in your group of friends, for what you are achieving.
So it will focus on the individual.
Yes, I think so. There are, we have examples of, in the US, there's an example, Recycle Bank, I think they're called. So they're doing it on a state level where they are collecting garbages, recycling. It's more of a recycle gamification. So you get points, but you actually get credits to the local shops. So if you recycle, you get a cash back on the local shops, because the state is actually paying for landfill. So if you recycle, they earn money. So it's a business model where they can take the money they don't spend on landfill and then give it to the people who do recycling. So that's a more systematic solution, I'd say. But we're very into the individual. What can we do as individuals and in groups of individuals? So I think that would be where I'd start.
Interesting.
What do you want to have?
Well,
you're going to get something soon.
Yeah. So speaking of games, Evelina and I have prepared a zero waste game for you, Monika, and for all of you that are joining us on this live. So we're basing it on the 12R of zero waste. Monika, are you in for a tryout?
Yes.
Yes, good. So first, we'll give you a lightning speed recap of the 12 R's. So 12 words all start with an R. So it's reduce, reuse, recycle, and then we have repurpose, rot, repair, return, refill, refuse, remember, respect, and restore. And I don't assume that you remember any of this, but you can read it on the screen as well. You see them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you watching the live, feel free to participate and help Monika in the feed. So we're asking you, which R is it? So I will give you like a short of almost like a riddle, and then you will think of which R it could be.
Okay.
So back in the day, it was glass milk bottles. Now it's glass straws. Eliminating single-use coffee cups. Which R could that be?
Eliminating. So I'd say this could be reduced. What do you think? People help me out there. Kind of reduce. You go from a glass bottle to a paper, so you take away, but it's not repurposed.
But you're still reusing it, right?
I'm still using something else.
Yeah.
But
you're just using it. You're getting closer. What did you say?
Is it return? You return the carbon?
Yeah, it could work as well, actually, but that wasn't the R that we were looking for. But you actually have already told it. Milk bottles, yes. What do we do with the milk bottles back in the days?
Yeah, we returned them.
And then we
reuse them.
Yes, we reuse them. Good, you got 1 point. Great. Okay, so you're ready for the next one.
Okay, yeah, I really need to focus here. Okay, yep.
So okay, the next one. the essence of Buy Nothing Day.
Reuse,
the
refuse.
White Monday?
Yeah,
refuse, yes,
yes.
great.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, awesome. Okay, now we're warming up. So all of you joining us, please feel free to help Monika out. Okay, the next one. Clean up industrial sites and make our oceans, rivers, forests, and soil thrive again. Which R could that be?
Repair?
That's maybe more, we have them again. So to make them thrive again, it could be with the soil, the ocean, with the ecosystems.
Yeah, I mean, it's a respect of ecosystems.
But it's kind of repair, but you do it with nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Restore,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Very good.
Better for
Very
ecosystems.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Repair for stuff.
And now I have...
Thank you, food fighters.
Yes. Yay, they're helping you. Great.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, and this is a short one. Just fix it.
Just fix it. Repair.
Yes. Repair. Good. Okay, now we have the final one in this test.
Okay.
So
where am I? Am I at three points, or is it only 2?
You have four out of the. We have just last. Yes. Okay. So if I say the last resort, which R is that? What is the last thing?
Right. I'd kind of instinctively go for recycle, but
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, recycle. Yes.
Wow, you got 5 out of 5. That's amazing.
Thank
You're such
you.
a zero waste change agent, Monika.
Yeah, I like this. I really like this.
Wonderful.
Very good.
And I hope all of you joining us also got some inspiration from the 12 hours. Okay, so now it's time for the wrap up. At Deedster, you're working to empower people, to inspire them to do stuff. If our viewers or listeners engage more people, let's say their friends, in creating a sustainable future, what are some tricks that they could use?
They could use Deedster. I think that's a great
Use
trick.
Deedster.
Yeah. Download Deedster and try it and send it to your friends, because that's actually the perfect, it's actually our to do something, and it can be really overwhelming to be the only one in your group of people engaged in this. So you don't want to get all new friends, but you want to get your friends to engage a bit more. And it's difficult to always be the person that has to explain and have to know everything and being questioned. So to have a tool like Deedster to sort of, okay, so if you don't believe me, try this and read here and do this quiz and learn a bit more, and then we can talk. To get people to a kind of hygiene level of where we can have a fruitful discussion, because it's always starting with the climate deniers first.
And then you end
up. Yeah, exactly, around things that aren't really. Yeah, exactly. So instead of focus on put away the emotions, focus on the science, and we have the science in Deedster, and start there. Talk about what's easy and do something. Also, being a role model is better. You can also, you don't have to preach, you can just do. So I think with Deedster, that's kind of what I do. I'm not a rebel or a preacher, or I just do. So we made this tool for people who wants to do things rather than talk about it or argue about it even.
Wow, that's a great wrap up. So thank you to all of you that have been joining us. And thank you, Monika, for joining the show and for joining the Love Zero Waste game.
Yes, thank you. That was kind of a tension here in the morning. Fun. Thank you so much, Malin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is the end of the Love Zero Waste, the Love Zero Waste Live. We will release very soon the episode, the ordinary podcast episode of this recording. So we will keep you updated through our channels. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And Monika, have a very nice day. And to all of you that have been joining us, enjoy your day as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.